Hi everybody, this is the officially unofficial geek channel weekly comic spotlight. This is our spoiler-tastic show. Yay! I am always your host. I am always Carrie Quinn. There's never a day I'm not Carrie Quinn. Let's just get that out of the way right now. I'm always Carrie Quinn. A little bit different. I apologize for the glare on the glasses, but because we do get kind of down and dirty and take the plastic off of the comics in this video, we get spoiler-tastic, we get all up in the business of the comics that we're going to talk about in this video. I leave my glasses on so I can actually, read everything. Because I am visually impaired, at least in part. I'm not blind or anything, guys, Like, there's nothing wrong with being blind, but, like, I just don't want to misrepresent myself. Today, if you were if you were watching my full weekly comic spoiler light video, you will know that I am absolutely over the moon that it is now finally fall, and my normal water is here, yes, but I am also drinking tea. In my last video, it was vanilla chai, and it was Tazo tea, and this is just a not so well known brand of green tea. Because I just wanted to mix it up a little bit. Still in the same mug, still in my, Princess Leia mug here. So here's the thing. Normally with my spoiler-tastic comic spotlight videos, I would divide them up by comic and do multiple videos, but here's the thing. The comics that I am doing, the comic spotlight, the spoiler-tastic comic spotlight on, are all the Fear State books. So I am really into the Fear State books. I'm really into it right now. I am um, a recent addition to the fandom of Batman comics. So I've been told that events are pretty frequent. It makes sense to me that events are pretty frequent considering just had Joker War, which I did read in a magnificent trade. You might be able to see it on the bookcase behind me there. And I really enjoyed it. And now we're into Fear State, but the thing is like, it feels like some of the seeds planted for Fear State even started back then. And that's cool. But I was told that my excitement for events will probably wane. I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't. I hope I am excited about events. I don't see it being a problem as of right now, especially with as Batman goes. I'm buying all the major Batman books anyways, so I think it's gonna be okay. But check with me a couple events from now, and I'll let you know, okay? Um, so here's the deal: the spoiler-tastic comic spotlight. Like I said, we really get down and dirty with these comics. We really crack them open. We take the plastic off. As always, I bag and board my comics. See, and really, really get into them. Really get into the nitty gritty, and the major moments that made me go like while reading them. Um, just a little bit of a housekeeping thing. My birthday is coming up. It's October 1st, and I am going to be doing a live stream on my birthday. on, like I said, October 1st at 8 p.m. Central Time. I'm going to be doing it here, and I'm also going to be doing it on Facebook. So, please come and join us. I love to see your comments, especially if you're new to the channel. And I'd love to interact with you guys. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to do a live comic review. And this is going to be a week where we're going to have Harley Quinn. We're going to have Robin. We're going to have Detective Comics. Detective Comics and Harley Quinn are both going to be Fear State tie-ins. So I'm excited. Yeah. Okay. I'm also going to be talking about other stuff. I'm probably going to be talking about the return of Russell T Davies to Doctor Who. I'm going to be talking about other pop culture stuff that I've been watching or taking in lately. Might talk about other topics, um, what have you. I'm excited. Please tune in Friday, 8 p.m. Central Time. It'll be fun. I might show you some stuff I bought, might do a haul. Maybe my cats will show up. Y'all probably are not sure if I have cats. And you know, it's one of those things where it's like, I talk about these things in my life, but they never show up. Well, maybe Friday. Maybe Friday's the day, guys. Friday. 8 p.m. Central Time. Here. YouTube. This channel. I turned 40. 40. The big 40, so be there. Okay. Okay, so here's the thing. We're going to get into this. We're going to get into the spoiler-tastic fun right now with Batman Secret Files Miracle Molly. This one hit home for me. I don't know about any of y'all, but I work a day job. This does not pay the bills. I work a day job, and with the exception of since like around COVID started, I work in an office. Now, since COVID started, I've been working from home mostly. Overwhelming majority of my time is spent here in my office working. So, but Miracle Molly, it's an origin story. Oh my God, guys, this really got to me because I work in an office, and there's been a lot of times where, like Miracle Molly, I felt underappreciated. I felt unseen. Except instead of working for a financial industry job, she works for a tech company. So no one will listen to her ideas. No one will no one's giving her credit where credit is due, and that sucks. So we find out here, because it's an origin story, we find out Molly's real name is Mary. Now, how do we find that out? Well, Molly and the Insanity Collective have, in the kind of like the present era, have broken into a rich person's home to get a certain item to help them in their cause. She knows that it exists there. Well, why does she know it exists there? Well, it's probably because the rich people's son is her husband. Yep. Miracle Molly is married. She went missing a while back. And he, even though she looks very different, he recognizes, he's there eating dinner with them, and he recognizes her voice. She doesn't really look like Molly when she's married, so she doesn't look like Mary anymore, but he recognizes her voice. So see, like, there we've got Molly, Mary, right there. So Molly, it seems, Mary, has come to a bit of a crossroads in her marriage, her career, and it's basically there's a lot of people kind of pressuring her to either further her career, get them to pay attention to her, or spread those legs and bear those children, basically. Um, and I don't really look at her husband as being too much of a like bad guy here. He's not really all that horrible. He has certain expectations that he has out of a relationship, out of a marriage, that don't seem like if Mary wants to be a mother, does not seem that bad. Because I mean, motherhood is a valid, wonderful choice for a woman to make. But the woman has to make the choice for it to be okay. A woman shouldn't feel pressured into doing that. And unfortunately, Molly, she's feeling a little bit of the pressure. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna make this move. Okay, it's really funny because like River is right there, just off camera, and it's kind of funny. He's on my desk right now because I made that statement about how my cats don't show up anywhere. Yeah, you're gonna move stuff around. Oh, you're gonna fall over because comics are slippery, buddy, and they're plastic. Yeah, comics get slippery in plastic. He almost knocked over comics, and he slid on the comics. Nope, don't you dare. Don't you. Okay, so River likes chewing things. And he likes chewing Mylar bags, apparently. And he shouldn't. Um, obviously, because we all know what Mylar bags are in the comic community. No, River. Hold on. I'm gonna pause this real quick. Oh, see? Here he is. He got on camera a little bit there. You did see him there. Hold on one second, guys. I'm gonna pause this. I'll be back. Okay, all right. River has left the building. No, he has not left the building. He's left the room. He's left the desk. So we're gonna get right back to the action here. Okay, so um, Mary goes, Molly goes and kind of just barges into a meeting and was like, "You are not using me to your full potential, to my full potential. Here are my ideas." And she goes through her ideas, and her ideas are actually like good. And you know how I know? Because, well, they're pissed at her for going into the meeting. They want to take her ideas while they fire her. So she goes later on and tries to steal her ideas back, steal her computer back, and this one guy that was her boss finds her, and she may have accidentally murdered him. Um, and at that point, it's that point that she goes into hiding and she finds where the Insanity Collective is. So that's basically the story. She like that her husband is sitting there like, I know it's you, Mary, like why are you doing this, and she's like, Mary doesn't exist. I don't know who Mary is. And it's kind of sad, but it's also like you have to wonder, like, based on what they do to her when she finds the Insanity Collective, because they do something to her. You have to wonder, it's not exactly clear um if she really doesn't know who Mary is, um, or if she knows and she's pretending not to. Yeah, so that's how that is. Um, so that was really cool. I did really enjoy it. There's like really cool art in it and that kind of thing. Kind of like you saw a little bit of the art back there, when I was talking about her appearance, and how different she looks. It's really kind of like it's a little bit like 90s style retro, and I really liked it. Um, yeah, it was kind of just it was good. I was it good? Yes, it was good. I enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. So the next issue that I'm going to talk about Nightwing number 84. I obviously really like Nightwing. We are a Nightwing loving home. I really enjoyed this. I mean, to be completely honest with you, like I love the variant covers that came out for this one and for some of the other ones, but I really just enjoy this this A cover, the main cover, pretty much the most of any of them. And so obviously we have, like I said, a Fear State tie-in. We have on the cover we have Dick Grayson Nightwing, and we have Batman, and we have Peacekeepers on the cover as well. So when we're kind of saying there, it's a little bit different art because it is a different artist than usual. Rodriguez is doing the art on this one. But it's still really good, and it's still really pretty solid. I love that so Nightwing is like, oh my god, so like I did all this stuff, right? Now like what's next? And so then he gets some encrypted message from Oracle, what he believes to be Oracle, but we actually know, if we've been keeping up with Batman, we know it's not actually Oracle. So yeah. So he's trying to figure that out. It's encrypted, it's, you know, all that jazz. And he figures that out, and he knows that he has to go a certain place based on that message. So he has Haley the dog, as you may know. He takes Haley over next door to be taken care of by his next door neighbors, and they have kids, and they're really excited about taking care of Haley, and then Dick Nightwing is off towards Gotham. So Nightwing finds himself in the same alley. So this is someone that this anti-Oracle is definitely somebody that knows about Batman, knows about, or maybe it's possible. It's possible because the alley, the location that Anti-Oracle sends Nightwing to is Crime Alley, which is, if you know your Batman lore, you know that that is the same alley that Batman's parents were killed in. So he brings Anti-Oracle brings Nightwing to the spot with their message, and then you have the magistrate and the peacekeepers come upon him. He realizes a little too late that it was a trap, and starts fighting, and it's really cool. It's just, it's pretty awesome when you're sitting there and you're reading this, and some of the you have the actual dialogue that does happen, and then you have the thought bubble kind of things. And when he realizes, it's really cool when he realizes that there's a shadow while he's sitting there and he's fighting the magistrate forces. And he realizes there's a shadow, and he sees a shadow, and it's literally like a page turn, and it's ... of a bat. So he's sitting there and he's fighting the magistrate and everything like that, and excuse me, and Batman shows up to help him. It's the Batman, not Jace Fox's Batman. At first, I was wondering if it was going to be, when he sees the shadow of the bat, if it was going to be Jace Fox's Batman from I Am Batman, but it was not. It was Bruce Wayne Batman. So they're fighting. the magistrate together. They get all that taken care of. He informs Nightwing while they're fighting, the Oracle system has been corrupted, hence all this happening. So you get like a few really good pages of like fighting, you know, the idea that they're like there's like a thought bubble where it's a series of thought bubbles where it was like it's Nightwing thinking, and he's just like, we slip into our old patterns immediately. Feints and hits, distractions and punishment. And then you turn the pages, like the dynamic duel. Unfortunately for these soldiers, we're a little bit more dynamic than we used to be. And it's this really cool page where he's just like the dynamic duo. I really love that part. I mean, there's other parts in this that are really cool. It's just that whole page of where they're kind of like in these they're in fight poses. They're fighting, you know, and they're fighting the magistrate forces. And it just says the dynamic duel. Unfortunately, we're more dynamic than we used to be. So they leave. And then here's what happens. They leave because then all of a sudden they start shooting. Like drones start shooting everywhere. So they have to bust through apartments, and they get followed also. So they have to go back out again because, you know, civilians could get shot and blah, blah, blah. And so they end up back outside, right? Oh, no, sorry. They end up out of the people's homes, which, good thing. And they go under the streets. So they're in tunnels underneath Gotham, and they're talking, and Batman is getting Dick more up to speed, and there's this really beautiful moment where he says to him, Batman says to him, "I know you could have handled that situation alone." Nightwing is like, "Maybe, but it was still appreciated." And Batman says, "I watched my parents die in that alley. I wasn't going to let it happen to my son." Like, the issue doesn't end at that point, okay? But it was like, that could have been a really cool ending to the issue. But you know what? We have another cool ending coming up. So Nightwing goes ahead and he joins Barbara in the clock tower. And Barbara's telling him, you know, about what everything's going on, and talking to him, and she's like, "Are you okay?" and everything like that. And she hands him, you know, one of these radios. And he's just like, you know, "Okay, I'm going back out." And she's like, you know, "How am I going to keep in touch with you?" You know, she's like, "No need, I'm coming with you." And he says, "Babs, there's a hostile army on the streets, and you have experimental technology holding your spine together. Just tell me what to look for and where to look." And she says, "No, the system I built is being used to hurt the city and my friends, my family. This is my fight." Now, I am going to take a moment. That's the end of the issue. It says, "Next, battle for the voice of Gotham." I want to take a moment and just kind of really look at this situation right here. Tom Taylor is the absolutely gifted writer that is writing Nightwing. He is also writing other titles for DC, and I think he is writing the Dark Ages title for Marvel as well. Um, yeah, I mean, he is writing some of the best titles in DC right now. He's writing this title. He is writing the new Superman, Son of Kal-El. Um, he did. The thing is Nightwing's story, Barbara's story, all these people's stories were stories that were already established. Um, and when Barbara Gordon had the implant put in her back and she was able to walk again, because Barbara Gordon prior to this was just Oracle. I don't want to say that was horrible. Barbara Gordon had been Batgirl. Then in The Killing Joke was brutally attacked by the Joker, and then was wheelchair bound, and became Oracle. And through that, during that time period, the whole situation happened involving what you hear about just a little bit ago about the experimental implant holding her spine together. It allows her to get up, move, walk, and be Batgirl, in addition to being Oracle. Now, something that has happened in the world. This is something when Barbara Gordon got out of that wheelchair, I believe it was 11 years ago. Um, and a lot of stuff has happened since, but apparently people were very upset when that happened. And I can understand that because of the idea of representation. And this is actually something I think I do want to talk about on Friday as part of my special show. Representation in the media, and not just comic books, but in general. Um, when Barbara Gordon, about 11 years ago, got out of that wheelchair and started walking again, that was pretty rough for some people because they saw in themselves, disabled people saw in themselves Barbara Gordon. And that's important. Representation is important. To the people that have read this and are upset that they've made it look like that Barbara Gordon is somewhat less important as Oracle, that she has to put on the Batgirl costume. I do not feel that at all. I do feel that there's a lot more story to this that happened even before Tom Taylor took over the book. And if you're reading this and you're upset, I understand. What I'm also going to say is this is a big deal because she shouldn't be doing this. If you, like me, read the Joker War, read other stuff that happened around there, you know that literally in the middle of the Joker War, Barbara Gordon has a scene where she pulls her implant out of her back and lunges it, like throws it to knock out the Joker because the Joker is trying to victimize her all over again. Um, it was around that same time that Barbara also explains that she is still in pain. She is still disabled. Um, just because she can walk does not mean that she's not disabled. Um, and the experimental implant in her body is slowly but surely failing. And at that point, Barbara Gordon decides it's a better idea for me to focus on being Oracle. And in this situation, Oracle has been completely compromised, completely taken over by this anti-Oracle. Now, it's unfortunate, but this is why she puts on the Batgirl costume and she plans on going out. The reason why it's such a big deal for people that are reading the comic and feeling what Barbara does is because she probably shouldn't be doing this. And that's why this is such a big deal. And I'm not going to get too more into it. I understand where a lot of people are coming from, but I also understand the other side of things. So it's kind of hard. Representation is important. And yeah, I'm really interested in doing something involving that. I think maybe I will do that during my live. We'll add that to the list of things that we can talk about. So we're gonna move on from that because that was the end of the issue. We're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about Catwoman 35 real quick. Okay, so if you are up to date on Catwoman, you know that not only has she seen Bruce again, but she has also now mourning the loss of her friend, the detective Hadley, because he took a bullet basically for her sister, Maggie. And that's really sad, because she's just like, I was one place and then I saw it all happen and I couldn't do anything about it. And that really sucks for her. She's like sitting there, she's talking to Hadley's partner, kind of recapping what had happened. And then she kind of lets him know that she sent her sister away when she gave her safe passage out of Gotham and Alleytown. But what you really find out is Maggie basically tells her, here's the thing. She tells her this: I love you, Selena. I always will. But I have to take care of myself now. For a while, you understand? I'm not coming back. It breaks my heart to say this. But loving you is like loving the sun, Selena. Most of us can't get close without burning up. So basically her sister just told her, I love you, but it's hard to love you. And in this one moment where she's waving goodbye to her sister, and she's saying, but loving you is like the sun, Selena. Most of us can't get close without burning up. And you see the moments where you saw, like in a previous issue, Batman's reaching down for her. And the thing is like, I love this whole juxtaposition that's like happening here with the art, the story, everything. And it's like sitting there and it's like, this is the most natural thing. This is the most natural home for Selena Kyle to be able to do what she wants to do, be who she is, but also have that relationship with someone that she can get close to, that isn't hurt very easily. So you have everything. I'm going to try and get through this quickly because I don't want this video to be too long, okay? So you have everything going on in Alleytown. You know that Alleytown's going to shit and everything. So everything is happening at once. You're seeing different areas of Alleytown going to shit. You see you know, everything happening all at once. You kind of leave you leave basically the scene directly with Selena. Now, something really cool that happens is, um, if you remember a couple issues ago for Catwoman, Clayface, Croc, Firefly, Cheshire, Knockout, they all went to Selena because they want to try and get this second chance to be different, to be better people. So then you see basically Clayface, Croc, all those people going out into the community and trying to help people, trying to defend people against this horrible magistrate, armed forces. So they go out, you see that, and then you see Selena, um, back talking to Leo. Leo, who, if you recall, was, um, hurt very badly, almost killed by, Father Valley, during I believe it was during the annual issue. So, she tells him kind of what's going on. Um, she's talking to him, and she's gonna, friendly hug and everything like that from him, and she's just like, um, then she gets the messages from Anti-Oracle, and just the look on her face is just insane. She's like getting on the messages, one of them involving, you know, it continues on to the next page, excuse me. Um, Eventually she sees the last message, and it says Batman is dead, and it's just, the look on her face is just heartbreaking. Because she's like, she has no reason to believe, she doesn't know that that's not really Barbara, that's not really Oracle. Um, but she doesn't know. So she's like, I know there were rumors on the radio, but Oracle, he's not dead. They're wrong. He always comes back. And so she starts heading out towards Gotham because, you know, this is a big deal, this is her dude. So then you got like a little exchange between Penguin and Riddler, and they're like, how can we take advantage of everything happening? Um, and that just happens, and you get that they want to go out and they want to find, the part of Poison Ivy that, Selena has been helping. Selena, keeps on traveling. She comes across, some barriers, like spike barriers on the ground, and she is surrounded then by the magistrate. Um, and they start fighting her, and she of course fights back, and eventually she runs, and she's just like, she knows and she senses that her strays are around. So then like a whole shit ton of the strays come down and start helping her. At this time, you still know that she knows, or she thinks she knows, that something's up. She's still wanting to go to Gotham. Um, and so, like, Shoes is, you weren't leaving, were you? And she's like, I only because I have to find him and make sure he's. And Shoes then is like, okay, here's the deal. All that was fake. We got more, communication basically stating everything that's happening. Um, and you see different things going on with those, um, uh, messages that are going out by the actual Oracle. And yeah, so you see everything coming. You see, all the magistrate forces coming. You see, the White Witch, there. doing her thing, getting ready to go out, and then you also see Harley Quinn and the gardener are on their way to Alleytown as well. And basically it says, you have Oracle's message: the Batman is not dead. I repeat, not dead. The Oracle: compromise. Disregard all comms not on this channel. This network lasts free and open communication left. Whoever you are in Alleytown, know that they to shut you down. And there's like little things that are like getting staticked out, like it's like that. I'm tracking a large contingent your way. Stay safe, stay strong. Keep this channel open at all costs. Help is on the way. And that's the end, where you see Harley and the gardener are on their way to Alleytown, which we're going to get to see that next week. It's going to be so cool. And that's going to be one of the comics that I'm going to be reviewing on my live show, just FYI. So real quick, we're going to talk about Batman 113. There's some really cool stuff that happens in this. And I have my own particular things that I want to talk about involving it. It's really interesting, the whole psychology thing, involving trying to find what was happening, why, and what Crane had done, Scarecrow had done to his head, using the Mindscape type of sequence. And then Ghostmaker's like, okay, so here's the thing. Here's something I should actually tell you. So he uses that whole circumstance to kind of show him in a story in his brain involving how he actually knows Crane, which is kind of cool, but also kind of, well, that's convenient. That was a little weird. And so basically what you get is a flashback involving Ghostmaker and Crane talking about Crane's theory of a fear state, and basically kind of giving Batman the whole idea of what his plan is, why he's doing things the way he is, and kind of giving him a little extra insider knowledge here involving the whole situation. So that's really cool. So basically we got a lot of that going on here. And we do have the clown killer or clown hunter. I always do that. Why do I keep doing that? The clown hunter story at the end, which is kind of cool because he's just falling. But we're going to run right back to the Batman story real quick, because you do have a lot of stuff involving him trying to get to where he needs to do everything. You have him communicating when all that's over, trying to get to, okay, let me find it. So you've got information about Peacekeeper 1 and how he's still going nuts. You get Peacekeeper X coming in, and it's not going to look very good for Peacekeeper 1 at this point, because he has murdered a whole bunch of people. Okay, let's just be real. There is a lot of stuff happening here. Side stories, main story, main plot following Batman, and you've got the side stuff involving Peacekeeper. One who has gone completely bonkers because of Scarecrow, and what Scarecrow did to him. This is not his fault, but he's a Peacekeeper 1. He's Peacekeeper 1. He's gone completely bonkers. And we have Peacekeeper X that's going to, the mess here, this is what it says, the mess here is pretty ugly. Could you imagine if the press found out, or the police? Because Peacekeeper 1 has murdered a whole bunch of people, because they look kind of like zombies to him, and it's kind of weird. And all that's happening, I think he's probably not long for this world, and that's why in in Future State, we don't have Peacekeeper 1 anymore. So, one can say that if Future State really is a continuation of the story, um, take some, clues from that, obviously. Um, Batman also is kind of sitting there, in the beginning, he's like, trying to fight his way to where he needs to be. And it just seems like Batman is directly, talking because he knows that Simon Saint can hear everything that's going on. And it's really cool. Um, like he's just kind of really egging Simon Saint on. It's so great. In the beginning of the issue, though, and this is something I really want to talk about because I caught this and I'm really excited that I caught this. Now, at the beginning of the issue, we have Gotham Police Headquarters, and you have Renee Montoya, who is now the commissioner. Yeah, she's Commissioner Renee Montoya. So she's the head boss, and she is just like, oh, she's really stressed about all of this stuff, obviously. She doesn't necessarily trust the magistrate. She doesn't trust Simon Saint. She doesn't like the um the faith that the mayor has given in the magistrate forces. Um So we have, obviously they've had their communications knocked out as well. So this is her, and she's talking to people, talking to one of her detectives that comes in. Um, they're going to the tip lines, the telephones, and she's just like, please tell me there's something real on those tip lines. And one of the cops is like, look, unless there are zombies coming out of Potter's Field near Arkham, the rest of this is nonsense. Okay, so if you just kind of read this, you might not have caught that. What's really cool about this is the second story that's been happening lately, last couple Detective Comic issues, has been that second little tale at the end, has been the story with Deb Donovan and Red Hood, Jason Todd, where it's like, where are the bodies going? And it's supposed to be something that's leading up to a series that's coming out soon. It's called Task Force Z. And it's basically what we got going on here is we have in this series, it's supposed to be kind of a zombie thing. Bodies are going missing. Jason Todd is taking an interest in it. And it's supposed to be a major Jason Todd title. And I thought it was really funny that it's like, unless zombies are coming out of the Potter Field, we've got nothing. I thought it was a really cool, like, kind of like foreshadowing of what's going to be happening with Task Force Z when it happens. So I thought that was really cool. That was like one of my favorite parts about it, and that I caught it was really cool. So I was very happy about that. So, but overall, Batman issue number 113, really, I love the psychological stuff about the Mindscape thing and um Ghostmaker and him working together to try and figure out what happened, and then him telling him what he knows, and that moment where it was like, I know you can hear everything going on, and he's like fighting to get to this position, and he's like, I know you can hear everything going on, I know you can see me, and this, I'm glad because you're going to see exactly what I'm capable of and what I'm going to do to keep Gotham safe. And that is where we're going to leave that because it's pretty awesome. Basically, I know what you are. Now you find out who I am. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So I hope if you made it this far, you've enjoyed my little spoiler-tastic comic spotlight involving the Fear State issues for this week. Batman, Nightwing, Catwoman, Miracle Molly. Um, please join us on Friday, October 1st at 8 p.m. Central Time, where I'm going to be going live and I'm going to be doing all my things. And it's going to involve a live comic review. And it's really cool because we're going to have more Fear State comics like Harley Quinn and Detective Comics are coming out this week. So yay, I'm excited. And we're going to do other things and I'm going to talk about other things. And I would love to see you all there. And so that's it for us with the officially unofficial geek spoiler-tastic comic spotlight of the Fear State titles for this week. So I am your host as always, Carrie Quinn. Please be kind to each other, take care of each other. Vaccinate if you haven't already, because that's a way that you show you care about the world. And keep reading those comics, and I'll keep reading them and I'll keep talking about them. And I want you guys to comment. I don't get a lot of comments, and when I get comments, I like to make sure that I am responding to them. So come at me. Come on. Tell me what you thought of the comics this week. Tell me what you thought was the best standouts of these issues or any issue for you. So that's it for now. Please like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Comment, like I just mentioned. And life is hard. Buy a book. Keep reading. I'll keep talking about them. Have a good weekend, good evening, good week. I'll be seeing ya. Bye.